That is the hardest part of that ring.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
For the hardest part of the ring.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the hardest part of the ring.
Hello and welcome to episode 113 of Hardest Part of the Ring, the podcast where four friends get together to celebrate the wonder of professional wrestling, or as Randy Orton calls it, the greatest wrestling podcast ever.
His exact words.
I've heard him say that before.
Yep.
Right after he shook my hand.
My name is Adam, and keen-eared listeners may remember that last week we were excited about having a week off because NXT Takeover is next week. Right, guys? It definitely didn't happen over the weekend.
Yeah.
Oops. So yeah, obviously a big, well, I mean, it's not really a big fuck up, is it, in the grand scheme of things? But we
In
are
our
here.
scheme of things, it is. Bat signal went up Saturday night. I'm like, shit.
I know, couldn't believe it.
God, I would love a bat signal that just had NXT, and I just, every time I saw it in the sky, had to go watch NXT.
Well, I'm sure we could arrange something. Just get
Yeah.
buy a very powerful torch. I actually researched the most powerful torch in the world fairly recently, and it's only like 200 quid.
That's not bad, actually, for the most powerful torch in the world. Should we do introductions?
We should. That was Sam,
Hi.
and you heard John.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm Adam, and Brett isn't here. He was like, no, you promised me a week off. I'm having a week off.
Contractually obligated to avoid this podcast.
Yeah, he's only contracted for a certain number a year, isn't he?
Yeah, like half the bonds. So it's just three of us. At one point, it looked like it was just going to be me and Sam, which is something we haven't done for a long time. But then John messaged today and said, guys, I've only got an hour left of NXT. I'll be there for you.
Yeah, it wasn't looking too likely yesterday. I was in a shitty mood yesterday for unknown reason. And I was like, I'm not watching wrestling tonight. I can't be fucked. But I watched it today and enjoyed it.
I think there are quite a few reasons to be in a bad mood at the moment. But being on Hardest Part of the Ring isn't one of them. And listening to Hardest Part of the Ring isn't one of them either. So let's all have an incredible hour or so. Last week, we talked about The Undertaker because it was The Undertaking Volume 2, which is the second ever episode of The Undertaking, and I very much enjoyed it. And some feedback for you, Sam. I'm aiming at you because you sort of head those episodes up. My friend who doesn't watch any wrestling, doesn't really listen to the podcast, decided to give it a listen, and he said it was really cool to sort of learn about The Undertaker because obviously he's aware of him and learn about his history, and he even went back and watched the entrance to his first match.
Well, that's amazing feedback. That's great. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we have.
He said you were shit on it.
I mean, that's fair.
No, I think that's really cool, and yeah, we're definitely enjoying those, so there'll be more of those to come. There's plenty more to do, but this week we're of course here to talk about NXT Takeover in Your House 2020, and we're going to review that show after this short break.
Ricochet. Oh! Max Black's on the apron. Hardest part of the ring.
NXT Takeover in Your House 2020 took place at the Full Sail University in Florida with an attendance of, actually, I've written down 0, but probably about 20.
Yeah, a couple of dozen, isn't it?
Yeah. Comms team of Mauro Ranallo, Tom Phillips, and Beth Phoenix. I've got some thoughts on that. It sounds like you do too as well, John. What are you thinking?
It was weird. I like Tom Phillips, but it was weird having him and Ranallo there at the same time.
It is weird.
I thought that they both do the same job and we're kind of getting each other's way a little bit.
I thought it sounded quite a lot at times as if Tom Phillips was dubbed in. I know he wasn't. I know I've talked about this before, but it's just the way he talks. It's like Ranallo would like to play his part as lead commentator, and then Tom Phillips would come in and say something similar as like a lead commentator, and you just think, wow, that just doesn't sound natural.
I'm actually convinced that somewhere in WWE headquarters there is a room which basically has Michael Cole hooked up to a bunch of like weird tubes that all have like clones of Tom Phillips in.
Okay. I mean,
that's canon.
A bit like that bit in Alien Resurrection.
Yeah, exactly like that, except it's Michael Cole and Tom Phillips.
I think that's a conspiracy theory we should start spreading. Get it out there on wrestling Twitter. This is the first time that WWE have revisited the In Your House theme since Valentine's Day 1999. Ooh. First time this century. what are your thoughts on the revamp as a whole, John?
I liked it as a one-off. I don't know
Yeah.
if I could do this gimmick on a yearly thing. Like the 90s stuff is cool. Like, yeah, nostalgia, yay! But I mean, that dies quite quickly.
Do you know who made their debut at the Valentine's Day Massacre in your house?
Oh no.
Oh, that does sound familiar.
Well, it's the big
Mark
show.
Henry,
Oh,
unbelievable.
it's the Mark Henry show.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I was in there much earlier than that.
No, he rocks up, he throws Stone Cold at a cage, and Stone Cold falls out of the cage and wins the match, I think. It's a good event.
Spoiler for a future Rewind episode.
Yeah, I've only ever watched one in your house, and that's the Canadian Stampede one.
Also a very good one.
Very good one.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm with you, John. I enjoyed this for what it was. A bit different. I like it that they are not necessarily trying to reproduce their normal takeovers with no crowd. Enjoyed the set, enjoyed the callbacks, and the adverts. What do we think about the adverts for the Good Humour ice cream sandwiches? Did you watch those?
Was that real?
I think it must be.
It was on the borderline of, is this a parody or is this real?
I looked up.
I really want them.
So I looked up IC Pro afterwards, which it turns out to have been like not a steroid, what is it? A supplement. But apparently they used to advertise that as well.
Right.
iCall Pro.
Ico Pro, sorry, I had no idea. I've never heard
Get
of
it right.
Yeah,
We won't get our sponsorship.
Is that like
Yeah,
a well-known thing?
Yeah, it was Vince McMahon's like energy supplement thing.
Wow, I bet those are really
That
good
was-
for you.
I think it was just sugar. But in the early years of Raw, like the iCall Pro banners all over the shop.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Good Humour Superstars cookie sandwiches, an advert. I think Good Humour appears to be Walls. Maybe the American version of Walls, because the logo has the little Walls heart thing on the top. For a podcast point, how many calories per ice cream sandwich, John?
Oh, they said on the advert, didn't they? It's quite low, like 200.
Okay, Sam?
315.
Oh, no. 150 calories. Just 150 calories.
Well, that's only
Pretty
one.
good.
Yeah. 85 milligrams of sodium. Anyway,
That is a lot.
when we were talking...
Man, this is some salty ice cream.
I mean, salted stuff, like salted sweet stuff, is fairly popular. Anyway, I must say, earlier on in the day, I think I sent a message saying, yeah, it'll be really good if we can keep this podcast fairly quick. And it's happening again. It's always the way. So, Sam, why don't you tell us about the card for this pay-per-view?
The card for NXT Takeover in Your House 2020. We had a 6-person tag match. Mia Yim, Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Knox versus Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Still hasn't got a Wikipedia page, Raquel Gonzalez. Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano for the North American Championship. Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream in a backlot brawl for the NXT Championship. Karrion Kross with Scarlett versus Tommaso Ciampa. And Charlotte versus Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley in a triple threat for the NXT Women's Championship.
Lovely. And there was no pre-show, but we had a very lengthy performance from Code Orange. They went on and on, didn't they?
I'm not a music person, and the guy
Let's
at
have
the
your
beginning...
opinion anyway.
Well, it was okay. I thought it was Damian Priest singing.
Ah,
It
okay.
looked a bit like, I like the bassist in the background. He looked like he was 55.
Yeah. I like the fact that he was sort of gurning.
Yeah.
They take it so seriously, don't they? These sort of metal,
Yeah.
punk, hardcore bands, whatever you
You
call
kind
it.
of have to, though, don't you?
Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, fair enough.
It'd be weird if they were a gimmicky, just laughing all over the place.
It could be a gimmick.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. So usually we do the old key matches and things like that, but again, delighted to see that this was just a 2-hour and 20-minute pay-per-view. Takeovers are usually quite succinct, 5 or 6 matches. So I think we'll try and go through things chronologically, but we'll try and be very good boys and not spend too much time on the matches that don't really matter. So we started off with
One of the matches that doesn't really matter.
Well, yeah. It was the 3 faces versus the 3 heels, basically. Mia Yim, Shotzi Blackheart, Tegan Knox versus Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez. Shotzi Blackheart came out on her little tank. Big fan of that.
God, yeah, I want that tank so bad. I'd love a little version of that just to ride around my garden.
It keeps
Go to the
reminding me of like a
shopping.
toddler's toy.
I think it must be a toddler's thing because she had to sit on one side because her legs didn't fit under the steering wheel.
You used to be able to get those really. Do you remember? I never knew anyone who had them, but I saw adverts from like really expensive, like little electric
Oh
cars.
my god, those are so cool. It's like the Little Rascals, isn't it? Like kind of they have one, they do it all up and then they enter a big race. Yeah.
Amazing.
And that's what Shotzi should do.
Yeah.
One other note that has nothing to do with wrestling that I made, and we'll get it out of the way quickly.
This podcast is perfect for that, mate. Go for it.
A lot of people during lockdown have been having fun with their hair, like dyeing it or cutting it. I think Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai have definitely been hanging out doing like self-dye of their hair. Did you see the colours?
I
didn't notice.
I enjoyed that.
What I would say is that Dakota Kai's been hanging out with Shayna Baszler a lot on social media recently.
Really?
Yeah, just playing video games and stuup.
Okay,
Oh,
nice.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a weird
combo,
partnership,
right?
isn't it? Yeah, it's very weird.
John, what do you think of the match? Tell us.
I thought it was a lot of fun. It was quite quick. It wasn't long, but everyone looked really good. The women's division NXT below that sort of title picture is so strong.
Yeah.
Like Tegan Knox, Mia Yim, and Candice LeRae. They're just so good. All of those guys. Guys? No.
All of those men.
But yeah, super. Like it wasn't an amazing match, but I think they did a good job.
It's very true.
Everyone looked good.
Like I would say that kind of like Mia Yim, Tegan Knox, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, all of them are legitimate kind of. They're doing a great job and could also be title contenders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Raquel Gonzalez, Shotzi Blackheart, maybe a little bit early for them, but you know this is how you get exposure and develop your character. So yeah.
Yeah, totally agree.
This is the first NXT I've watched for quite a while, and it's quite jarring seeing Candice LeRae as a heel. I don't like it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think it's quite
particularly
good.
because I really liked her ring gear when she was a face. The sort of tie-dye look. I'm talking about hair and I'm talking about tie-dye. This is an interesting episode for me so far. Yeah, I know what you mean. Totally. I do like that in this match, though, that they kept those little feuds that they've got going, bubbling away. Kai and Knox, obviously Knox being able to get the
dynamite.
pin.
That's those two together, aren't they?
Yeah, LeRae and Yim as well. I kind of like what they've been doing. I mean, we have mixed feelings about mixed tag team stuff, but when it's legit couples and they're all great and people that we like watching, then I don't really have a problem with it.
Me, Yim, and Keith Lee, a legit couple.
I was just about to ask that.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. That's just made my day. That's a great couple.
Good for Mia Yim.
What are you saying?
I'm a little bit jealous of her because Keith Lee is pretty amazing.
You'd feel so safe in his arms, wouldn't you?
I would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because he's huge.
And he just
Bask in that glory.
Cradle me.
bicep curls you out of bed every morning
Oh, God, that'd be the best way to wake up.
into the shower. And then we will end the anecdote of the weird fantasy of three straight men talking about Keith Lee. Anyway.
Straight-ish, right? Straight-ish.
Straight-ish.
Anyway, Priest versus Balor.
Yeah, okay, so let's move on from that match. I agree, it was fun, good pace, good intensity, good start. Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. Now, this is a feud that I was not that fussed about. Sam?
Agreed. Yeah.
I wasn't fussed about it, but I'm going to put it out here. This was the best Damian Priest match I've seen so far. I thought it was excellent, this match.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah. Oh, God, we're going to agree on everything, aren't we? Where's Brett?
This upsets me a lot because I haven't liked anything that Damian Priest has done so far. I've kind of found him just a little bit like filling that weird Baron Corbin role, if I had to put it anywhere. And this match kind of completely blew me out of the water with both the fact that sometimes I think Finn Balor has a tendency of putting in a lot of rest holds and being a little bit kind of slow and methodical, and Damian Priest hadn't wowed me to this point. And this match, I think both of them really came at it. I probably would go as far to say as this was my match of the night. I thought it was a really good match.
Wow.
Oh, big shout.
That is a big shout.
It was very brutal and really a lot more hard-hitting than I was expecting.
Yeah, both of them
Yeah.
with the striking moves really coming at it. And yeah, just very enjoyable, I thought, overall.
That bump Damian Priest took onto the steps did not look fun.
He essentially he does a coffin drop onto the steps.
That looked really, especially for a guy his size.
Yeah.
That did not look fun.
And he also took the double stomp early on from Balor, and the one where Balor just stood on him. He didn't do the whole collapse, bend the knees, collapse onto the floor. He just stood on him and stayed there. That's still a move that I don't get how that doesn't do you a lot more damage.
Yeah, you have to really concentrate on pec day before you have a match with Finn Balor, I reckon. Just really trying to strengthen that area.
Yeah, blimey. But yeah, I like the way it started from the off with Finn Balor going in straight with the woo drop kick type thing, and yeah, it was kind of frenetic the whole way through. The Razor's Edge on the apron, that looked good.
That did look good. Love a Razor's Edge as well.
Yeah, it's a great move.
And then obviously finishing with a coup de grace, which again the camera angle just made it look absolutely enormous. It just I'm actually a big fan of that move.
The video package they put before this match as well, like kind of the promo work that both of them had been doing, sounded really good. I mean, hands up, I haven't been watching NXT recently, so it was kind of, this was my build up to the match in its entirety. Yeah. But kind of, I just thought, the stuff that Balor was saying about how he's going to bury Priest, it was kind of like, man, sounds pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
I'd really like Balor to have like a really good feud, like a series of matches.
Yeah.
A bit like Keith Lee had with old Double D.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe Priest is the guy.
So I would say the one misstep from this match was actually having Finn Balor go over. And I know kind of obviously they're building Finn Balor up and having him kind of beat the shit out of everyone, but I think kind of Damian Priest is at risk of kind of being the bridesmaid in every single feud he's in at the moment.
Yeah.
And
maybe.
I think he could just do with a big win.
It's tough when you've got Finn Balor, though, your big star, who you brought down. You've probably given him some reassurances of what might happen. And, I mean, as they said, this was his 11th Takeover win, which was a
they
record.
mentioned that's bonkers.
Yeah, that is bonkers, isn't it?
It's a lot. But you know what happened with David Priest? He'd be with that guy that like loses all the time, but then get called up to main roster.
Well, yeah, that's very likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say as well, Damian Priest's trousers, ring gear in this, biggest heel of the night for me.
Really?
Oh, awful.
They were very late 90s in a bad way.
Like, he looked a bit like if like the bass player from Sepultura tried to join a boy band in the 90s.
Oh, I quite like the sound of that. I mean, In Your House was a very 90s thing, so...
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's a homage to that. That's quite nice. If that,
You've come round
that's
on
the case,
it
I take it back. Yeah, there you go. I'm persuaded.
Greatest trunks of all time?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, it's up there. It's in a conversation, right, guys?
Let's move on to a matchup which I think would have had any wrestling fan excited. I say that I do know some people who aren't Gargano fans or are a bit exhausted from him, but I mean, come on, Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano. Very much hyped for this. Big respect and a big fan of obviously something that you pointed out on our WhatsApp, Sam. Keith Lee with the Black Lives Matters on his pants.
Hell yeah.
On his trunks, even.
Yeah, very nice. And his little jacket-y thing that was worn to the ring.
Oh, did it say it on there as well?
I think so.
Nice. What do we reckon? Obviously, the key thing, and has been relating to the feud that they've had. But what did you think to Johnny sort of supposedly being in his house and then coming out the fake front door and not even making it look like he was locking the door? I mean, that didn't look realistic at all.
Is that where you checked out on wrestling? This is too far.
At least get your hand near the handle, near the lock. It was like, it looks like you're in a school play or something and you're trying to
truth to this
overdo it for the people in the stalls. Yeah, I checked out after that. I'd give this a 1 star, this match.
I loved this match. I thought it was bloody amazing.
But what did you think of the door locking?
Oh, okay, back to the door. I mean, I couldn't... Do you reckon it was a Chubb or like a Yale? Are we going?
Yale, I want to say. I think kind of Chubb are the more rounded keys, aren't they?
Yeah, okay.
Makes sense.
Important.
Double bolt? We're talking double bolt action on this?
Single bolt.
Single bolt.
It was one of those handles with the lock-in, which is always a bit weird. Always a bit worrying that if one of them fails, then the other's going to fail. I think you're better off having a separate handle, separate lock.
Hardest part of the ring, top tip there for you?
Yeah. But yeah, that whole thing was kind of weird. But I think, the match itself...
Just to confirm, what we're saying is that this was our key match. Thank you. I'm going to leave the pod now. I thought this match was good. I think maybe it could have been about 5 minutes shorter.
Ooh, interesting.
Okay.
I feel like it went on maybe a little bit too long for me. And I think there were cool moments in it. A lot of them, Keith Lee's kind of pouncing Gargano through the plexiglass and kind of
so good.
the Big Bang Catastrophe, stuff like that. But yeah, I felt like there were points in the match, probably early doors, when it dragged a little bit.
Ooh.
I quite liked it at the start.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. Like, I could watch Keith Lee do his strongman stuff all day long.
Yeah.
Like, despite the fact he does that big strongman stuff, it feels so different when he does it. He feels so, I don't know.
I think Keith Lee is probably the most impressive big man wrestler currently wrestling.
Definitely.
Him and Braun.
Of course, yeah, Braun.
No, he's Braun looks totally shit compared to Keith Lee. It's amazing the stuff that Keith Lee can do from the early exchanges when he does like the roundhouse kick that misses.
Yeah,
you just say, how on earth does he get his leg that high? How is that even possible with thighs that big?
Yeah,
amazing.
Poor guy. His knees must be in terrible shape.
Yeah.
There's also a really cool bit where I think Gargano was going for like a slingshot spear, and he just punched him out of the air, which I absolutely adored.
I just love both. It's just a great wrestling match to have these two characters and these two people with the physiques that they've got, and then the approach they took. Obviously, we had the big giant who just wasn't going to get knocked down, but then you had the nasty little heel that was like clinging on to him and trying to go for the weaknesses like the eye and the fingers, and that stuff worked really well with the match with the storyline.
I found Candice quite jarring being a heel, but Johnny being a heel, I feel it works so well.
It does actually, yeah.
He slipped into that role so easily. It just seems so natural to him now to be an absolute arsehole. I really liked towards the end of this match as well when Keith Lee was like kicking out of loads of stuff. He was throwing Gargano onto the referee every time he kicked out.
He did our favourite thing as well, kicked out on a 1 count like 3/4 of the way through the match.
That ref should have been out for at least 10 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't believe he's still standing.
Yeah.
Hard bastard.
But should we go back to the door? Well, I did quite enjoy the fact they had a little security camera there, so you could see like their faces.
That was a Ring doorbell, wasn't it? Like a doorbell cam.
Yes, but again, you had Johnny frantically trying to get in the door, and it's like I know what I'm doing here on a wrestling podcast saying this, but come on, it's a fake door with no walls on either side. Just go round the side, Johnny. Anyway, sorry. I thought it, so I have to say
really
it.
Got to you.
Yeah. But yeah, back to the match. We obviously got all the good points we talked about. The pounce was great. I did love that through the plexiglass. And then when he dragged him like, along the ground, that looked really good as well. And the end. Loved the Spirit Bomb. Loved the Big Bang Catastrophe. I think they're both great moves that look brilliant. And love Keith Lee so much.
Yes.
Did you know that Keith Lee names all of his moves after anime as well?
Oh, I don't know. That's great.
You must be a huge fan of this.
I'm a big fan. Grizzly Magnum, Spirit
and you've
Bomb,
got him in the draft.
Big Bang Catastrophe. I do have him in the draft.
Oh, that's great for you.
This was my, I'd say, joint match of the night for me.
Me too.
Oh, really?
Me too, John.
But joint with what?
Stay tuned to find
Guess
out.
we'll find out.
Sam and listeners. Let's move on then to the fourth match. We're doing well here. We're flying through. It's only 20 minutes into the podcast. I think we need to go on a few more tangents.
We spent 10 minutes talking about doors.
I know. I don't think we're bringing the analysis that's expected. In fact, we definitely are. Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream, an NXT Championship match. How shocked were you guys when Com said that Adam Cole has had the championship for a year?
Yeah. I can't believe it's been that long.
That's kind of wild, really.
Absolute madness. I checked on Wikipedia before. I was like, maybe that's combined reigns, or I don't know. Am I confused? But no, he won the belt on the 1st of June 2019 against Gargano. Do you think it's lockdown has just skewed time?
I think it has, because I mean, we started lockdown 3 months ago almost.
Yeah,
It feels like that 3 months has flown by.
Yes, because you're not doing anything, so you're not making any memories. So when you look back, there's just nothing. Like it feels really quick because nothing's happened. Obviously, shed loads has happened, but for us, we've just been at home every day,
knocking out amazing podcasts.
Wondered what you were going to say. Oh God. So yeah, the champ has been the champ for a whole year. Obviously, the stipulation for this match was, and I love the fact that this was done over a Zoom call with Mr. Regal, that if the Dream loses, then Dream is very much over for him and wanting to win the championship belt. This was a backlot brawl. Sam, before before the match started, were you excited about a backlot brawl?
I wasn't sure what a backlot brawl was. I guess kind of as well, there was a slight irony of it being NXT Takeover in your house, apart from this one match, which is specifically outside of your house in a backlot.
Yeah,
In
it
a
does feel
movie
like
set.
Mr. Trick on not doing it in a house somewhere.
Yeah.
Like a funhouse type of thing. Or no, Finders Keepers.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
Ooh,
That would have
yeah.
been great. Half a house, so you've got the audience looking in. Oh my God, they need to do this.
Yeah, send Vince some Final Keepers videos from YouTube. I love it.
Sorry, Sam, go ahead.
No, the match was it was interesting. Kind of, I'm not sure if it was quite to my taste. I would say, kind of like, I think sort of these matches, you need to have some really good spots set up to make them work. And I think kind of other than maybe the windshield spot, there wasn't enough of that. Like kind of there wasn't enough big spots, and there wasn't enough pure wrestling for me to basically be like, oh, this was a really good match. It was a lot of kind of hit you with one thing, guy stumbles over, next guy chases after, and just kind of repeat that for about 10 minutes or so.
That's true.
Yeah, I didn't like this match actually. I think it felt really disjointed. I didn't understand what the story of this match was. Like it, like you were saying, Sam, it just they would do this hit here, then they'd do a little bit over here, but it just never really felt like it's tied together.
It's kind of disappointing because we know both Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole are incredible wrestlers,
Yeah,
and I don't understand why you would want to almost deprive the fans of that.
Oh yeah, I was really excited for the talent involved, and then also how we've been quite pleasantly surprised by a lot of the sort of post-produced wrestling matches that we've seen, and the stuff that AEW and WWE have been doing that's been a bit different. So I was thinking, okay, well, this will be fun because these two guys are great. And I think there were moments, I quite enjoyed Dexter Loomis coming out.
Yeah,
that was good.
freaky.
Has a good old kidnapping. We love that.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was excellent. And
Also,
obviously the
like,
Uber.
I hated the Uber bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just felt that was
advertising, product placement.
also like old. Like I feel that joke is really old.
Oh, okay.
I did love Velveteen Dream selling the low blow. I think that might be one of the best sellings of a low blow I've ever seen.
I didn't even notice that, I don't think.
Good selling. I think the camera work on this match as well was awful.
It was just all over the place, wasn't it? They kept cutting the shot, and
When they first got in the ring and you had all the car headlights like glaring into the camera, that I was just like, fuck off. That was really annoying. Luckily, they didn't actually spend a huge amount of time in the ring.
yeah.
But yeah, that was annoying. Cole going through the windscreen was good because obviously it was legit. He cut up his arm.
I've always wanted to do that as well. It kind of looks fun to do that.
Next time we meet up, we'll do it with Sam.
Yeah.
Whose car? Not mine.
It'll have to be John's car.
Okay.
No, it's not even my car. It's my wife's car. She go mental.
Even better. That's why you got insurance.
How badass will she look cruising
I've already
along?
pranged it once. If I come back with no windscreen, it's divorce.
Hello, insurance people. It's me again. Yeah. Yep. Nope. Got punched through it this time.
Why don't you do it on your side of the car
Oh yeah.
so she can still see?
Yeah, I'm sure that'll work. I feel that's a loophole.
That's sorted.
That was actually a weird point. Was when kind of Adam Cole was hiding in the car. Velveteen Dream is outside the car with a baseball bat, and he starts smacking the car. And it's like, God, if only there was one part of the car you could hit, that would really have a huge impact and scare Adam Cole. But no,
Yeah.
It's a shame. I think that they missed an opportunity there to have Goldberg next to it, just smash open the window.
yeah, right. Yeah.
I did think there were a couple of spots as well that kind of didn't work in terms of like the time when they had the Panama Sunrise that then went into the Dream Valley Driver, and Mauro Ranallo, he doesn't call it, does he? He sort of goes, and the Panama Sunrise, and then Phillips has to come in and go, into the Dream Valley Driver.
Yeah.
And then just after that, they had that weird Panama Sunrise. No, it wasn't a Panama. What was it? The move that Dream did into the chair, which...
Oh, the elbow.
Yeah. But that doesn't look good if somebody's already off the ground. The whole point is he looks good falling and hitting the ground. It just looked a bit odd.
The whole
The end of the match just felt a bit weird, didn't it?
Yeah, I
Didn't really build up to it.
I was really disappointed just because when I saw the setup, I thought we were gonna. Do you guys remember the Minoru Suzuki Okada match where they had it in the rain outside and it just was like this this kind of pure wrestling match in a weird setting.
No, I've never seen that match.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard great things.
It's
but
a really
were you thinking
good
it was going to
match,
rain?
Well, that would have been cool. I think
That would have been cool.
honestly, just kind of having a pure wrestling match in an unusual setting, that would have been enough to make this match work. And I was a little bit disappointed with what we ended up with.
True. They've got the talent to actually put on a real good showcase of wrestling.
And they set the bar so high with all their other cinematic stuff. This one fell a bit short, in my opinion.
I did actually think the finish itself was good, though. After those two moves that were a bit weird and didn't work, I thought the Panama Sunrise onto the chairs looked amazing.
Yeah.
No? Yeah?
It's a good move, that,
it
innit?
good.
I mean, it looked like Cole hurt himself potentially more than Dream did, the way he landed on his back on the chairs, but I just thought it looked great.
I mean, the other thing is that it's a legitimate win for Adam Cole. You know, there's no disqualification. You're allowed to low blow someone and then do a Panama Sunrise onto the chairs. So it's like, for as heelish as he is, it's a fighting champion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I thought there was a chance he'd lose it here as well.
I thought he was going to lose it as well. I don't know where you go next with Adam Cole.
Yeah, or Velveteen Dream.
Yeah,
It's
that is an
difficult.
odd one.
I reckon maybe Finn Balor. Has he already had a go at it?
No, I think Finn Balor, that sounds pretty likely. That would
They've
make
got
sense.
so much talent, haven't you? You've got Ciampa knocking around, Gargano.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about Ciampa in just a second. But, I mean, this is interesting talking about Dream because a lot of us would have thought that potentially he would have been called up by now. Obviously, Matt Riddle, someone we haven't talked about, obviously missing from this because he is now a member of SmackDown. But what a weird time to get called up. You've got absolutely no idea how you're doing because there's no crowd to give you any reaction. Such a shame that all of this is happening. I've just realised this is actually a real shame that coronavirus has happened.
It's affected wrestling.
'Cause
That
Matt
was a tipping
Riddle-
point for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, Matt Riddle's not getting the pop that he deserves. I'd love to have seen the connection he'd get with the crowd, and now he's going to come out on Friday Night SmackDown to... I was about to say No Way Jose giving him a clap, but no, he lost his job.
I'm worried Matt Riddle might go the same way as No Way Jose.
No! Oh my God.
I'd
That
be a little bit
cannot
worried
happen.
for Matt Riddle as well on SmackDown. I don't know if that's
I
going to
cannot
work out.
I can't see how it's going to work out. I'll be so happy and delighted if it does, because that guy is such a talent and so charismatic. But I just don't. I worry. I just don't
I
see how it
think
can work.
he will benefit more than a lot of other people will when crowds come back to wrestling because he has got such a massive, adoring fan base.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think if he fist bumps everybody in the crowd, then he'll be over. Everyone in the front row. Everyone in the crowd might be a bit
He's not allowed
much.
to fist bump anymore, though. That's
Shit, yeah.
outlawed, gone.
Deary me. It's not looking good for Matt Riddle. Anyway, we'll have to see what happens there. And yeah, what they do with the likes of Velveteen Dream when it comes to call-ups and things. But let's move on to a match between a brand new wrestler in NXT and somebody who's been there an awful long time and you could argue could be called up. A weird one, this one. Did you expect Karrion Kross to be booked so strongly, so early?
Absolutely not. No. I was very surprised by this. It was so dominant. One of the most dominant matches I think I've seen for ages.
Moro
Against
even
Ciampa.
referenced how it was similar to the John Cena squash match at SummerSlam, didn't he?
Well, yeah, with all the suplexes and stuff. There was a lot of similarities with Brock.
Yeah,
This is the first Cross match I've seen.
same. I love his entrance.
Yeah, that's proper.
Really cool.
Dramatic.
You just love Scarlett Bordeaux. How do we feel about Scarlett Bordeaux miming to the music? She did quite a good job, I thought.
Was she miming?
I didn't realize she was miming.
Yeah.
So she did a very good job.
Okay, there you go. So miming always looks a bit weird, but I thought, I mean, she I want to say this without sounding like a total perv, basically, but she does look amazing, doesn't she? She like fits in with the whole gimmick of the pair of them. The way she comes in is this like sultry, like Catwoman type figure.
Yeah.
Man, you are treading a tight.
I really am.
You did a really good job though. Well done.
I know what you mean.
If we can very nearly get into some sort of weird fantasy of John with Keith Lee in the shower, I think we're allowed to mention that Scarlett Bordeaux is quite an attractive woman and sort of has a great look for this gimmick with her real life partner.
Oh, really? Another real life couple in
Wow.
NXT.
Yeah.
I really like them as a duo. I think they came across really cool. I think kind of having a dominant performance against someone especially someone as established as Ciampa is a huge kind of like statement. He was just really cool. I thought it was a great ass kicking.
Yeah, there's one bit where he did like a Northern Lights suplex and then followed it up with one of the most brutal clotheslines I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Whoa, give me shudders.
Is the decision to have Ciampa be the one who's thrown to this new wolf, is that a good decision?
Oh, he can take it, can't he? It's Ciampa, like everyone loves him.
I mean, like, this is the whole thing with wrestling, is that no single wrestler should be booked as like immortal forever, because it just kind of messes stuff up. Like, it breaks the entire kind of kayfabe of it. You've got to sometimes take an ass kicking to kind of develop the story and character a bit more.
Yeah, no, I think I agree, actually, because you're right. Nobody's going to be tuning into NXT next week thinking, oh, there you go, there's Ciampa, he's lost all his credibility.
The one thing I actually have an issue with, and I've noticed this not just in NXT, but in kind of like all wrestling, is that no one taps out anymore. Like, it is always like, oh, and they passed out. And I get it. They do it to kind of keep the victim of the move, like, you know what, they didn't get knocked out. They didn't tap out. Like, they did it with Brody Lee, like, a couple of weeks ago. But I don't think there's any shame in tapping out, because, like, it doesn't hurt, like, the submission.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It annoys me. It really does.
I can see why they did it with Ciampa, because, as we said, he's just been such a huge force in NXT for so long, and it might be a bit, you know, having him lose and getting beaten down like he was is one thing, but then having him tap out is another. But as a general point, yeah, I agree, actually.
I really don't think anyone should be above tapping out. I really don't.
No.
All right, Sam.
No, yeah. Fight me, Adam. Fight me. I'll make you tap out.
Oh, okay. Let's move on to the main event, which was the NXT Women's Championship match. And I'd say this, if I had to list like current WWE dream matches that I'd want to watch, this would probably be up there with these three. Obviously, Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai versus the champion Charlotte. It was a triple threat. I made that sound as if it was 2-on-1. It definitely wasn't. I fucking had this one spoiled because I did started typing WW into my browser, thought I'd selected the network, and it went to WWE.com, and there was a picture of the new champ.
That's a shame, because I mean, the end of this match was a massive shock for me. I thought Ripley was going to win it for sure.
Oh, did you?
Put money, yeah.
I thought
Charlotte would drop it.
I thought Charlotte would retain.
No, I think move Charlotte back up to the big leagues.
Yeah.
I think Charlotte has legitimate reason to be upset, because locking in a figure 4 leg lock is a submission and a pin. And yeah, she technically was pinning Rhea at the same time.
Oh, do you reckon that's
No,
continue the feud?
No, I think they're going to completely ignore it. But I think Charlotte has right reason to be upset over that.
Yeah. I thought that the end was a little bit weird, actually. We'll come back to that. Though I agree, I do agree. Yeah, I mean, three absolutely brilliant wrestlers, easily three of my favourites at the moment, and it was great to see Rhea, because obviously she's been missing a little bit. I just love how sort of brutal she is, and how everything she does, she just puts 100% into everything. Like the knee strikes that she does with her, she's got such long legs. Just looks like those would absolutely kill. And I just thought she was great throughout. And then the other two are just both complete class acts. I think they are that level just above Rhea, purely because of the age and the experience. And they're just amazing, both of them.
Yeah, 100% agree with you on that. I think kind of this was one of the best matches of the night, and was rightfully in the main event position as well, because it was the most exciting match to watch, kind of the most intriguing.
Yeah. Do you think they watched the WWE were planning on having maybe the men's title match, and then they watched it and were like, oh, I don't know if that's good enough to headline this. Let's go with the women.
I don't think so. I think
I'm being cynical there.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe that.
Okay, right, Adam. Sure.
I don't know if I trust Adam, but
throw things out there and see if people agree with it, and then I'll chop them down when they do.
Yeah, I mean, this was just a really great match. Everyone kind of brought their A game. really enjoyable, kind of good triple threat energy where kind of like you've always got two people in the ring kind of constantly going for it. There was one, I think, kind of big botch when Flair was looking for the natural selection on Ripley and just outright missed it.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe it was just me. Did you see it?
No, yeah, I vaguely remember that. But yeah, I'm sort of with you that it was just, I loved how fluid it was, and that nobody was out the ring for a very long time. They just kept on coming back in. And I particularly enjoyed when Charlotte was initially trying to get that figure 8 on, and then Rhea dragged her out by her hair.
Oh yeah. That bit started like the end sequence, and I think it was amazing from that point onwards. So that last few bits were so nasty and mean and fast and furious. It's great.
Love Rhea Ripley's cloverleaf submission. That is just amazing. Like, you've got to have such a specific build to be able to pull a move like that off, and she just makes it look so brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Flair as well was really, really brought her own game in this match. Like, it felt like she was.
She
doing
always
everything.
does, though, doesn't she?
I don't know. Actually, I felt like she was giving it a little bit extra. Although she did look extremely exhausted about halfway through. I don't know if that was just really good selling. Maybe I'm going to say it's really good selling.
I think it probably could be.
Yeah.
I love an exasperated, sort of tired-looking Charlotte. The way she comes out looking pristine, and then she's got this sort of the sheen of sweat on her face and the strands of hair, and she's looking angry. It's great. She's great.
The other great thing about Charlotte, and I kind of like, she's been working on this ever since like the Ronda Rousey SummerSlam matches. She's really made the kendo stick her like trademark weapon.
Yeah, that
And
bit
she's
where
so brutal with it.
she appeared in the background just with a kendo stick was really nicely shot, I thought.
Yeah.
Shirai's crossbody from the roof, that looked painful for those two, didn't it?
Yeah, I think Charlotte took a bash in the face or
On the
Yeah,
face,
she like grabbed her nose instantly, didn't she?
she didn't look happy.
It's so painful when you get a bash to the nose, isn't it? The pain goes away fairly quickly unless it's broken or something, but if you just get a little knock, it's awful.
Possibly controversial opinion.
Well, it doesn't hurt.
I'm getting a bit sick of people jumping off things. Like,
Oh my god, okay.
but just a little bit like kind of because of how long it takes to set up. Like when EO was about to jump off the house kind of little bit, it wasn't kind of like a, oh my god, and it's Io Shirai, here she goes. There's kind of like, there's the standing there, she kind of positions herself, make sure she's in the right place, and then you can see like Rhea and Charlotte have clearly like positioned themselves now to catch her, and it's just a little bit like, I don't know, like the whole thing could just do with being a bit faster. And it's not just that, like it was at the Money in the Bank as well when Asuka jumped off the balcony into everyone, and yeah, just too much jumping into people.
You do realise that makes up quite a large part of wrestling, jumping off stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe
This
I
is
don't like
this is last
jumping.
pod.
This is the guy whose mum sent us a message only a few weeks ago talking about how you used to jump off your roof and all these other things.
Do you know what made me good at that? I didn't spend a long time thinking about it. I just went up onto the roof and did it.
Okay, fair enough. I think some of this is to do with the direction or the vision mixing or something, because you're right. I think with this one, you could see in the background that Shirai was there, and it was at that point that you needed the comms to go, oh my god, but instead they waited until there was like a slightly closer shot, and then she was there to comment on it. So it did seem like, we all know she's there, why aren't you referencing
If
this?
you want to like look at like, I'm not saying I dislike it all out, like kind of completely. I'm just saying that kind of, it needs to be, in my opinion, it needs to be really quick and smooth. Like kind of Darby Allin absolutely smashes it every time he does it.
True.
Yeah,
He has no fear.
he's very quick, nimble.
He is.
Doesn't care for his own safety.
Let's get to the end then, as you said about Charlotte doing the figure 8, and yeah, you're right, in the submission and the pin, but obviously we had the moonsault from Shirai. That didn't go well, did it? She was far too over to the right, and she basically kneed Rhea Ripley in the head.
Yeah.
And my guess was that it was supposed to break up the pin or break up the submission, which then wouldn't have caused that issue with Charlotte still having it
No,
locked
I think
in.
they were meant to have because like Charlotte was clearly trying to break her own figure 4 to break up the pin. I think that was the planned finish. I just think they kind of changed the rules of the figure 4.
I think she just. I do think that the trajectory that she had was slightly off. But
Yeah, I don't think she was aiming for Rhea's head. That did look
No.
very painful. I can't even imagine how you take that, because she's probably lying there going, ow, ow, this is really hurt, figure four, ouch, ouch. Close your eyes, then peek open and just see EO mass just block out all the studio lights.
Knee to the head. Oh dear. But I mean, still great. And as you say, a shock for those that didn't already know what was going to happen. And another great match.
Yeah,
as you'd
really
expect.
Good. Really good match.
Yeah. So there you go. That is Takeover. I mean, it's hard to say that this ranks up against the classic takeovers we've seen over the years, because
It's
there's no
hard,
crowd,
isn't it?
and that has a huge effect.
And even if there was a crowd, I think this was a really fun pay-per-view, but there was no really outstanding matches for me. There were some good matches, but nothing what I would come to expect, like Takeover level matches.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose we should be happy that they haven't done another 40-minute epic match between two people, because we'd be complaining. So at least there was some variety in that sense, I suppose. What do we think of the crowd situation? I am a fan of having extra bodies there and the plexiglass for them to bang on, and just having some noise is so much better.
I liked it in the
silence.
studio. It really grated on me in the Velveteen Dream Adam Cole match.
Oh, really? I didn't really notice it there. Sam, I reckon you've got something controversial to say.
So I'm not a big fan of the crowd here, because it feels very artificial in that kind of, the guys who are kind of in the crowd are, not only are they WWE employees, of course that part would be expected, but kind of a lot of the reports going around about kind of how WWE have been treating the NXT guys who have been in the crowd for the Raws and SmackDowns and stuff, kind of treating them as extras and sort of almost certainly giving them direction. Okay, you cheer this person, you boo this person. And I feel like it removes one of the more organic kind of parts of wrestling that I really like, which is kind of like the crowd coming around and choosing who they're going to support and all of that.
They're in a difficult position, aren't they, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean...
What are they supposed to do?
It's difficult, because I think the problem is that I think having the crowd is good, but I think kind of WWE have sort of shot themselves in the foot a little bit by having being so kind of controlling in their own kind of narrative as to how they want to portray things within wrestling, that it kind of, in my opinion, it hurts the legitimacy of kind of like the crowd reactions.
Yeah, I understand the point.
Yeah.
I think it's quite exciting to see some potential stars of the future there. Do you notice Simone Johnson, The Rock's daughter, was there?
No. How did you notice that?
I saw her.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
I saw Zai
I
Lee, and that was about it.
Oh, right. And who's the women's wrestler who wears the mask? She was there wearing her mask. I can't remember what her name is. Yeah. I like it.
I thought I saw Albert, and it wasn't him. So
wow.
He would have been there.
I'm not very good with identifying people.
So there we go. That is our review of the show, NXT TakeOver In Your House 2020. Let's do star performer. Should we pick one each?
Yeah.
John, have you got one ready?
I'll go Keith Lee.
Nice. Sam?
I'm going to go for Damien Priest.
Wow.
Wow. I didn't have one ready. And I'm probably going to go for Io Shirai, because she's the new champ.
You have to, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Overall rank, where we give the pay-per-view a score out of 10 and then compare it to previous pay-per-views. It's always a tricky one. It's so tricky nowadays with these Corona shows. No crowds, or now we've got semi-crowds. It's weird. John, have you got a thought? 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 6 out of 10. I'm not going to list them all.
7.5. Like, it was really good. Really enjoyed it. Love the fact it was only 2 hours, 20 minutes.
Yes.
But nothing like flew off the page for me. Flew off the page? Like, nothing. It was
truly
truly outstanding.
Yeah. Anything fly off the page for you, Sam?
No, I think for me it was a 6.5 out of 10.
Wow. Yeah, it's a weird one. I really, really enjoyed the main event and Keith Lee, Johnny Gargano, but overall, I don't think it'll live in the memory for that long. So I think I will go between the pair of you and go for a 7, which means the average is 7, right?
Hey, beautiful. That's some
Lovely.
quick maths.
Yes. So, Sam, Can you put that into our
It's already
spreadsheet
in there.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What does it compare to?
NXT Takeover in Your House is currently sandwiched between WWE Extreme Rules 2019, which was 7.083 out of 10, and Takeover Respect in 2015, which was also a 7 out of 10.
Takeover Respect. I don't remember. Oh, that must be a rewind. We did that, right?
Did a rewind,
It was indeed a rewind, yeah.
Interestingly, we've got Takeover NXT UK, Takeover Blackpool, Takeover Respect, and Takeover In Your House, all hovering around that 7 mark. So pretty low quality for takeovers, really, considering what we usually think about them. But also, we don't tend to review them very often. We don't get many opportunities. So
that's the thing. Like, kind of Takeover has set a bar that's quite high, and so we always expect it to be amazing. And when it's not amazing, it kind of
What worries me is now we've got to the time where NXT is kind of considered that third brand, kind of on a level. You know, they're moving pay-per-views to the Sundays rather than having them before a big WWE one.
Didn't like that.
And now has the level kind of gone down a little bit.
Maybe we are in line with Randy Orton's opinions about NXT.
Maybe. Well, he did say this was the greatest podcast ever, wrestling podcast ever. Anyway, there you go. Those are our thoughts. Let's have a break and get some listener thoughts.
Looking for Fear Factor, that package pile driver on the apron. Penta, oh no! Factor, he nailed it, and Omega's down, and he might be out.
Okay, listener comments. So we asked listeners to let us know their top 3 moments from In Your House, and we have Loserweight says Todd Pettingill. Yeah,
we know what you mean.
Doc Hendricks and DX getting confused by a computer. Great
Shawn
long-term
Michaels'
booking.
beard.
Oh, he looks so old.
Who the heck?
What about Road Dogg loading up on the carbs? Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird. It's true. It looked like Shawn Michaels had Triple H's beard.
Yeah. It's weird.
2 great beards, let's face it.
I quite like that. I found that bit really funny.
Yeah.
I know it got quite a bit of shit online, but I thought it was funny. Thought it was funny.
It was.
Graham Hughes says Io Shirai spot to pin Rhea for the title, well deserved and long overdue win. Keith Lee put in Johnny Gargano through the plexiglass. Dexter Lumis emerging from under the ring, enjoying the character, was a long wait after breakout tournament.
Yes, I'm pleased he's getting utilised now.
I really
doing some
like
creepy
Dexter
stuff.
Lumis,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so creepy looking. But it's weird though, because he seems to be fighting the Undisputed era. And they're obviously got the heel stable, but there's no way he can be a face, right?
I think he is a face.
There's no way he can be a face.
You can have a creepy face.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had a creepy face your whole life, John.
Oh,
Hey-o.
mean. Anyway, let's get back to the lovely listeners. Clint McCormick, Io Shirai winning, Io Shirai jumping off the house, and Doc Hendricks picture. Lovely stuff.
Doc Hendricks what?
Picture.
Was that the picture that Johnny Gargano looked at before he left the house?
Yeah, it's
right.
right?
Yeah.
Right, okay, yeah, sorry.
It's a callback. Don't worry. And finally, Leclerc. Priest versus Balor. Good choice. Keith Lee body checks Gargano through the glass. And Cross destroys Ciampa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Three
so
highlights for
surprising.
me.
See, when you actually look back at the list of comments, it was like, actually, it was a really good pay-per-view. Had some really cool moments.
One of the best ever?
Yeah, why not? Can I up my score? Is it too late to give it a 9?
Perfect 10.
No,
yes. You don't mean that, do you? Do you mean that?
No.
Okay, you never know, John. You never know. Is that it, or have we got anyone else?
That's it.
Thank you, listeners, once again for taking part and getting involved with the hardest part of the ring. Next week, we've messed up. We're about to do our 6th podcast in a row, which for anybody listening who has a podcast and releases it weekly is not a big deal. But anybody who doesn't and is just generally tired will know that is. So we are back for Backlash next week. It's a shame. We thought we had a week off, and instead we're doing probably the least important WWE pay-per-view there is.
But we're quite looking forward to the Backlash of Backlash.
Yes. And I'm particularly looking forward to the greatest wrestling match of all time of Edge versus Randy Orton, which apparently they've already done. They did it a couple of days ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so now they're heavily editing it to make it look decent.
I'm kind of excited to see what they do there. But I also think it's just going to be them trolling us.
I really hope what they've done is over the last 3 or 4 weeks, they've just recorded like 3 or 4 seconds of the match, Like they've just got in, done a move,
Yeah,
and then just done that
to keep
every
fresh.
single day. And now
you
they're
notice
going to
over the
edit it all
course
together.
over the course of the match, their hair gets slightly longer and their stubble grows.
I
That'd be
like
great.
to think it's just Daniel Bryan, but he's done like Randy Orton's tattoos down his arm. And then you got Andrade dressed as Edge with like a beard and long hair.
That'd be cool.
Also on the Backlash card, have you seen it's Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley for the bloody WWE Championship?
God.
There is actually a match I am looking forward to on Backlash card, which is Apollo Crews versus Andrade for the US title.
Yeah, well, you probably need to be watching the pre-show for that one, mate.
Hopefully Brett will be back in time for that. Let's hope he can make it back next week. He's been a very busy boy, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Lots of people getting him to do illustrations and stuff.
Busy.
Which means we didn't get our individual, show-specific artwork this week, guys. You probably noticed. We just got the generic one.
I could probably knock something together, Adam. Be all right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see. That's not going to happen. Sam, if people want to get in touch and demand individual artwork for every episode, what do they do?
They contact adam.richardson@googlemail.com.
That's fine, because that's not me.
That's probably not your email.
Some other guy. That's fine.
okay.
He can deal with that.
There's another Adam Richardson out there who's going to be upset over this.
Yeah.
But if you do want to contact us at the pod, hardestpartofthering@gmail.com, or you can get us on social media at hardestpartpod on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And that's it.
That is it.
That's
We keep the shop address in our running order every week, even though the shop isn't back. But it's a little tease for us because we know that one day it will return, and there's going to be so many bargains on there. Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you, Sam.
I'm out. Bye.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, Adam.
We'll see you next week. But until then, that was the hardest part of the ring.
That is the hardest part of that ring.
For the hardest